Today's little video is all around how to fix your diet mistakes. Alrighty, so I think we've all been in a situation or it's something that happens to all of us along our journey. We're trying to implement a new diet and things just seem really hard. Or, and we feel as if we just keep messing up, we're not eating the right things, or we keep, falling back into those bad habits or those bad practices. Or maybe even we're someone that's a little bit more experienced and we've been traveling along really well, and then just something happens, whether it's something emotional, something social, something to do with the family, something to do with the kids, something you're just feeling within. And you just feel as if you then, you have this massive blowout and you just can't stop consuming food. Welcome, Corrine here from CRG Energy Fitness. I help parents to build strong bodies and strong minds so that we can feel confident and capable within our body to do the things that we really want to do every single day. Do the things that we feel are holding us back from living our healthiest and best version. First up, if you have a moment, a meal, maybe a day that gets away from you and you feel as if you just can't stop consuming, you don't need to then make the next day a day of restrictions or a day where you feel as if you have to make up for any mistakes that you might have made yesterday. Alrighty, you don't have to drop your calories, or you don't have to start skipping meals because you may have overeaten, or you may have consumed a lot of food the day before. Alrighty, so in my opinion, by doing things like this, it just creates a spiral that gets out of control. Alrighty, it then makes that situation worse, and it creates a cycle, a really vicious cycle, which can be really hard to actually recover from. Alrighty, and it creates an unhealthy relationship with food. Whereas I want to be able to help you and teach you how to have a healthy relationship with food, to actually have the best relationship that you possibly can with food. Alrighty, to then be able to put yourself in the best possible position to get the results that you're wanting to get. We want to have then a relationship where we can identify where things are going wrong. And we can then identify that we may have messed up when it, comes and we're, working towards our goals, but it's okay. Alrighty. And not to be too hard on yourself in that space. And that's because we can't be perfect all of the time. Like, we literally can't. And it's okay if we have one of those meals or one of those days, one of those moments where things, we let them get on top of us and we just feel overwhelmed with life. We want to really be able to then reflect on the past day or the past week and have a look at some of the potential reasons as to why you fell off track. So it's about really being self-aware, so being able to identify A, what our triggers are, and then B, that, we're actually falling victim to those triggers in a sense, and we're not able to be able to rise above them, or be able to control them, or be able to have them serve us in the best possible way. Alrighty, so at the same time, though, we want to be able to not use it as an excuse or a reason to continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. Because that's a true definition of insanity, making the exact same mistake over and over again. And, doing the exact same thing and expecting a different outcome. So if we're doing the exact same thing or we're making the exact same mistakes, then we're going to get the exact same result at the end. Alrighty, so let's actually look deeper, identify what's going on and learn from it. Because that's the most important thing here, that we're actually being able to learn from our mistakes to set us then on a path that's going to help us to grow. Alrighty, and help us to be better the next time that challenge comes up. Because we're going to be faced with challenges and obstacles every step along our journey. So if we can learn from our mistakes and learn from the things that we may have done wrong to be able to then implement different things to see if they work, that's a step in the right direction, and that's progress right there. Alrighty, and that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for progression over perfection. So I have a couple of really good strategies that I want to just touch on to help you to move forwards if you have a fat loss or a weight loss goal. So number one, let's actually have a really good think about the rate of weight loss that we're striving for. Alrighty, so I think a lot of us, and in my experience as a coach the last 5 years, I have a lot of people that come to me and will state certain goals, such as I want to lose weight, but they can't actually be specific about it. Alrighty, so what that actually ends up being is just a really vague goal, and one you're unlikely to be successful at because you're not being specific enough. Alrighty, and perhaps then it's a goal that it's not a goal that you really want. Is that your goal then? Or maybe it's a societal goal, or it's you feeling pressure from outside or from peers, from family, from a partner to be a certain way. So you feel as if you have to, lose weight to feel good within yourself and about yourself. Alrighty, and it could be something that someone else has planted, a seed that someone else has planted along your way that you've then embraced and rolled with. Alrighty, so why it's important then to actually think about the actual weight loss, the amount and the rate, so the speed, I guess you could say, at the level that we want to achieve our goals, because it's actually, and the reason, it's important is because it's actually going to have a huge emphasis on our nutrition choices and on our then nutrition plan. Alrighty, because amongst other determinants, to be able to lose weight, we need to be in a calorie deficit. And that means consuming less energy than we're actually expending. Now, I think a lot of us then fall into the trap of thinking I've just got to eat less and move more. Now, that sounds simple enough, but I think if we simply took then this equation and implemented it, how long do you truly believe you're going to be able to keep up with cutting your food amounts and then moving your body more? And moving it every single day, let's say, is that actually possible for you? And studies show that we actually give up on these sustainable practices within 2 to 3 weeks of starting them. And the reason is why? It's because it's not congruent to our current lifestyle and the lifestyle that we're actually used to leading. Alrighty, so first things first, we want to accurately know how much we are consuming on a daily basis. We need to then be able to track our food intake. And rest assured, this isn't, and it doesn't have to be a forever thing. However, it simply gives us a baseline and a number to work with so that we know exactly how much you are consuming on a day-to-day basis. Alrighty, so that's really important when it comes to being able to and wanting to lose weight. Number 2 here, so let's also consider how you're feeling when you're on this diet as such. So are you actually feeling deprived? Are you really feeling as if you're deprived, that you're missing out? Are you experiencing mood swings, irritability? Are you snapping at family, at friends, at work colleagues, at your kids? Are you not sleeping well? So you're experiencing brain fog, fatigue, feeling lethargic, no mental clarity. How are your energy levels? Are you feeling fatigued all the time and you just don't have the energy to do anything? So I'd really encourage some self-reflection here. Did any of these things come up for you. These can all be signs that your target rate of weight loss, so what we touched on in tip number 1, is too aggressive. So if you're actually trying to cut down your calorie intake too much, then you're going to experience these side effects. Alrighty. And it is also signs that you're perhaps not consuming the right type of foods for your body. Righty, and the type of foods that your body needs to actually thrive. Alrighty, so those proteins, those good healthy fats, those more sustainable and healthy carbs in that space as well. Alrighty, because carbs aren't the enemy here. No way whatsoever. We need carbohydrates. We need all of those macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates, to allow our body to be, performing at its best and to make sure that we're feeling good. So if you're experiencing any of these symptoms that I just touched on, I think it's going to be time to reassess the speed at which you're trying to lose weight. Are you going in too hard, too fast? Increasing your food amount and then decreasing the actual calorie deficit is probably what is needed in this space. Alrighty, because then it's going to allow us to be a lot more compliant with what we're trying to achieve. So again, that's why it's really important to know how much we're actually consuming on a day-to-day basis. Alrighty, because it's very easy for us just to, go along in our day, having a snack here, having lunch there, and then reaching for another snack. The kids have come home, so I'm making an afternoon snack and I'm eating while I'm making them food as well. So, these amounts of food are then all adding up, and we're losing track then of how much we are actually consuming day in and day out. Because we still want to be able to live our best life, right? And we can still achieve our end goal. It may just take a couple of more weeks, and that's okay. It's okay to mess up a couple of times. It's okay to have a day where things just aren't working the way that you want them to work. Things just aren't going right. I certainly know about that. It's okay to have those days. So just recognize that day for what it is and be really gentle and compassionate to yourself in that space. Alrighty, so progression over perfection. I have to say, I reckon that's one of my most favorite ever sayings, because it's so, so true. I think we fall victim into, trying to achieve perfection and trying to have everything spot on, with everything that we do, that we actually lose out and, lose the enjoyment of the things that we are then doing. It's important to remember why we're on this journey as such. And you're not going to make amazing results overnight, nor is it going to go the other way. So you're not going to put on, kilos overnight. Alrighty, our body just doesn't work that way. All right, so our body is going to respond to what we do on a consistent basis over a consistent amount of time. And look, I know the word consistency gets thrown around a lot, and it's sure, and it's something that I reiterate so much throughout my coaching practice. And it's for good reason. It's by far sexy. Nobody wants to hear be consistent. Shit, who wants to be consistent? However, because it doesn't sell, however, consistency works. It is the one and only thing that will work for you. Tip number 3 we're heading into. So hunger and cravings. So when we're, something else that comes up for us a lot when we're first trying a new nutrition plan, or we've, started to cut back on food or reduce our food intake because we are maybe overeating, then it's very normal within the first few days, even the week, to, actually feel as if you're not getting enough food, alrighty? Sorry, let me just read it. I've said that really wrong. I told you my brain's just a little bit foggy this morning. So hunger and cravings. It's normal to experience this in the first few days if you've started to reduce your calorie or food intake, and especially if you're restricting yourself. So cutting out on all those foods that you really love to eat. And just the actual change of volume of food and how it actually feels in your stomach is going to feel different for you. And those receptors within our stomach, that actually lets us and gives us the feelings and the signals of feeling full or that we need to eat. Alrighty, and this type of feeling can last up to 3, 4, 5 days. Alrighty, and that's where we then need to turn our focus on to the types of foods that we're eating and making sure that we're getting that good source of lean protein and making sure we're getting enough of that protein, because it's going to help us to feel fuller for longer. It's going to help us to promote that muscle growth. It's going to help in so many ways. And I want to really point out here, successful weight loss is a commitment. Alrighty, it's a lifelong commitment, because if it's not something that we're working on a regular and consistent basis, then we're going to find that our weight is, going to roller coaster. And it's going to be this, yo-yo diet effect. Alrighty, because it shouldn't be something that we just go full on and go hard for a couple of weeks and then stop, and go back to our normal way of eating. Or, sometimes then we just give up completely because it's all too hard. Alrighty, so we want to have something that's sustainable for that weight loss term, that we really have to think about how we can incorporate then the things that we enjoy to eat. Alrighty, so something that I like to actually ask my members, when we're having conversations around food, around dieting, around nutrition, is actually list 5 things that you can't live without, so that you have to have in your weekly nutrition plan. And as you can imagine, I hear all types of things. And I mean, just me, for example, some of the foods that I would include, chocolate, ice cream, cookies, these are some of my indulgent foods. And I can go through phases, of wanting to eat them, maybe craving them, but I can also then go through phases where not having them doesn't worry me whatsoever, because I'm getting enough from the food that I'm currently eating. Alrighty, so I fully believe that it's important that you work these foods into your overall nutrition plan. That's so that we're not feeling deprived, alrighty? So the minute that we cut out all those foods that we love to eat, the first thing we do is feel deprived around it. Alrighty, we start getting angry, we start getting resentful, and it can actually lead to feelings of depression, which then ultimately and can lead to then binge eating and emotional eating. If these foods are the first foods that you cut out completely and try to go cold turkey on, it's no surprise that you're actually going to get the cravings for these foods. So my suggestion for you is to actually really try hard to actually work these foods into your overall weekly plan. But what I would say in that sense as well, if you have no self-control, things such as sharing a dessert with a friend if you're going out, rather than eating it, to yourself. Or if, let's just say, potato chips is your thing, instead of buying a 200-gram bag, just go and buy a little small size bag. So you're not then, in your mind thinking, oh, well, I've got, the rest of those chips in the cupboard, I've got to eat that whole bag. Alrighty, so you can still have the food that you really enjoy, mentally and stimulating, you enjoy to eat. However, you're not then feeling that you're going to overeat by eating the whole packet. Alrighty, and I don't know about you, sometimes when a packet is actually opened, then we experience those feelings of, well, I've now got to finish it, So they are my 3 strategies there for you to consider and reflect on when it comes to dieting and how you can fix your dieting mistakes. I think as a general thing, we know what we need to do to lose weight. Like, we're all adults here, we're all intelligent adults. We know what to do, on a logical sense to actually lose weight. We need to look at our food consumption, how much we're eating and of what type of foods. And we know that we need to add in, movement of some sort. So whether it be specific exercise or even just walking, we know that we need to add these things in, which are going to promote that weight loss. However, there's so much more to the equation. These are two of the big things. However, it's the accountability and the support that we need most. And we understand that here at CRG Energy Fitness because we've been through it ourselves, and we help so many parents with this. That's something that we specialize in, providing the accountability, providing the guidance, and providing the support for you. And we support you to build a strong and confident mind and body so that you can go up against you and you can win, alrighty? Because you are the only thing that's holding you back right now. So if you need some support and some accountability and someone there, just to help you to kick ass towards your goals, then reach out, because we're here to help you. We're here to provide that accountability and to provide that support to really guide you in that progression towards the results that you want. Alrighty, team, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and please, I would love for you to share this video with anyone else, any other parents that you believe need to hear this message and need some help with their nutrition and with their food. Alrighty, have the best day. See ya.